What's up, everyone? Jeremy Gerard from Four Horsemen Studios here with one of my short customizing tutorial videos. Today's video is a follow-up to one I did recently about the difference between 1.0 and 2.0 parts. Today, I want to talk about the difference between Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions parts and how those pieces are compatible with each other. So, what I talked about in that previous video, and if you haven't watched it already, you can check in my feed and you can grab that. But there are two different essential kinds of parts. There's actually more than two. At the base level, we say there's 1.0 and 2.0 parts, but there's actually also some other sizes that have been introduced more recently, right? So beyond the 1.0 parts, which are the original scale parts for legions, and the 2.0 parts, which were introduced with like the females and the elves and the goblins, there's also trolls, there's also ogres, there's going to be brute scale coming out. We also have horses. So there's a number of different parts. But when we're talking about customizing, let's stick with the base figures, the 1.0 and the 2.0. The great thing about Cosmic Legions is that those parts follow that same format. One of the advantages with creating Cosmic Legions was the ability to use a library of parts that already exist for Mythic where appropriate, and to introduce new parts in Cosmic that could then reciprocally later be used in Mythic Legions. I'll give you an example. So behind me here, I have this figure. This is the Thygar Gravering figure from the very first Cosmic Legions wave, Valkatar Book 1. Almost everything on this figure was made brand new for the Cosmic Legions wave. The one exception to that is his upper legs. Those pants that he's using, that's a part that was introduced in the Mythic Legions line. It was actually introduced in the Alithia wave, and it was seen both on the Lord Bardric and the Valak figure. Now, those kind of fabric pants have been used since on a number of different figures. They're a super versatile part, both for us as, the company creating these new figures and for customizers. After years of everyone having armored legs, the ability to have those, fabric legs, those pants, was just an absolute revelation for a lot of customizers. And for Cosmic Legions, it got used. So you can see here, Thygar is a 1.0 figure, and all the parts from 1.0 will work here as well. If you, pop off his arms, you can pop a 1.0 arm in here. If you pop off the hands or the lower arms, the feet, the lower legs, the same kind of system that is used, the same kind of compatibility that is used for Mythic Legions is used for Cosmic. So what that means is other Cosmic Legions 1.0 figures, that could be something like the Science Officer here. That could be something like, the Sentry. All these body parts are 1.0. Operative 83, all of these are compatible with each other and compatible with 1.0 Mythic Legions as well. Now, there's not only 1.0 parts in Cosmic Legions, there's also 2.0. Zirian Spire, as well as the Tusk Engineer. Both of these are female characters. They're thinner characters. These are 2.0 parts. So any of those 2.0 parts for Mythic Legions, whether it's a female, whether it's an elf, whether it's a goblin, those are all going to be compatible with these as well. Lower arms, lower legs, upper arms, all that stuff. You can mix and match those pieces. And once again, the upper legs on both Ziri and on the Engineer, those are just the bare skin parts that were introduced years ago with the Advent of Decay wave for Mythic Legions. Now here they have a really cool deco. The fact that it's got this line going down it, that line is not part of the sculptural detail. It's added through paint. So it gives it the look of pants in a way that the bare legs on, say, a barbarian female that are painted flesh colored look totally different. So that's a very cool way that those libraries of parts can mix and match. Now, of course, We don't only have those sizes in Cosmic Legions. We also have an upcoming Brute Scale figure, Caenox Vol from the Grave Knight wave that's shipping soon. That's Brute Scale. That's going to be compatible with other Brute Scale figures like Kalazair the Djinn and Tharnog the Orc Shaman from the Poxus wave. We've got Ogre Scale figures. So this figure here, this is Kragnar. This body, this, kind of reptilian-like body was introduced in the first Cosmic Legions wave. Pieces of this were reused in Mythic Legions for the Poxus wave for the Blue Dragon Arakagor. And then parts of Arakagor were reused again in Cosmic Legions to create Scourge. So you can see that this combination of parts, having these two different lines, Mythic and Cosmic, but using that same library of compatibility allows the studio the ability to create tons of different characters, while it also allows you as a customizer or someone that maybe just wants to get parts and pop and swap them, it allows you to do some very, very cool things. You can take a figure like this. So say that you take Kragnar with his 4 arms and you pop that head off, right? And say that you take this guy here, Scourge, and you pop his head off. A little bit of orange paint, you pop this on here. You'll have yourself, I mean, obviously it's green versus orange, but if you painted that up, you have yourself a very cool 4-armed dragon. That's some cool stuff that you can do. Now, of course, Cosmerium is a bizarre universe. There's a lot of different variety. There's also going to be things introduced that maybe are brand new. When the trolls were introduced in Mythic Legions, that was a whole new body style. And to date, it only works with itself, right? 1.0 and 2.0 kind of work within each other. A little bit of mixing and matching between them you can do. Brute Scale actually works with 1.0. Ogres only work with ogres. Trolls really aren't pop and swap there. That's the one style that's a little bit different, that you wouldn't pop it apart. It kind of, most people keep those together. Maybe put a custom head on it. That's about it. In Cosmic Legions, we got this guy, a scale that we jokingly refer to as meatball scale. And I kid you not, when we actually look at the different shipping sizes, we've got 1.0, we've got Ogre, we've got Troll. We have one called Meatball that is for this guy. So this is High Warden Slog, another figure that was introduced in that first Kickstarter wave, not Kickstarter, excuse me, that first Cosmic Legions wave, I should say. This is not compatible with anything. Now, will we ever do other figures that use these parts? Well, if you know anything about Four Horsemen Studios, the answer is probably yes. It's very rare that we don't reuse pieces in some fashion, in some way. But right now, Slog is the only figure out there that uses these particular parts. So it's a system that allows us to build a library of compatible pieces, but when appropriate for the character, still have the ability to create something brand new. So if you've got some Mythic Legions, if you've got some Cosmic Legions in your farter bin, have some fun. Start mixing and matching those parts. When you take these pieces and you start ripping them apart, you will find some incredibly cool variations, some incredibly cool varieties of things you can do. Whether it's something simple, like you're popping the head off a Cosmic and putting like an Attila head on it to make that Space Marine you want, or whether you're going really crazy and you're doing something very, very unique. The fact that these parts, these Cosmic figures, are fully compatible with your Mythics is going to open up a whole new universe of customizing possibilities for you. If you enjoy this video, if you find videos like this helpful and informative, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments so I can answer that. And certainly, if you're not already following the channel, please consider doing so you are notified when I put videos like this live. Until next time, I can't wait to see what you make.